Good evening and welcome to the July 1st meeting. If you'd please stand, Councilman Lucy is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first ceremonial are Parks and Recreation Month, July 2025. Before we read off the proclamation, we will be presenting a video highlighting Chino's exceptional parks and recreation programs, as well as the staff in community services and public works who work hard to provide the Chino community with excellent service all year long. So let's roll the video.
Hi, my name is Myra, and I am a Community Services Specialist with the City of Chino. I have been with the city since 2015, and I am a lifelong resident of Chino. Today, I will be taking you on a journey all over Chino to learn about how our Community Services Parks and Recreation Department is a place where we build together and play together. This past year, we built Chino Rancho Park, featuring the city's first pickleball courts, accessible outdoor fitness center, and fully accessible playground. This park has it all. Let's hear from one of our Chino families about what makes this park such a special place to be.
As I come to this park, I realize that this is a park, like I said, that is for everybody. He's able to come on his own and enjoy the park. Little areas that are inclusive for his friends that are higher up on the spectrum stand out to me.
I like coming to park.
Let's go to Ayala Park. Welcome to Ayala Park. This past year, we built new shade structures, dugouts, and bleachers to our softball fields. Let's go to Madison, a Chino Girls Fast Pitch League softball coach, to find out more about the impact these renovations have had on our players.
The biggest change for sure, I think, is the dugout, the awning over the dugout. I've played many summers here to where we just had a tarp over it. So it was very, very hot, and I think the parents are really going to appreciate that over the bleachers this summer. The bullpens are huge as well for the pitchers and catchers to pitch in, and then the nice backstops we got as well.
We work hard to keep Ayala Park a beautiful place for our whole community to enjoy. Everyone in Chino knows Ayala Park is the heart of our city, and it truly represents how our community builds together and plays together. Now let's go to the Chino Community Garden. I am here at the Chino Community Garden, which is part of our Healthy Chino program. We just celebrated 20 years of Healthy Chino. Let's hear from Katie, the Healthy Chino specialist, to find out more about how we keep our community fit and active.
Healthy Chino offers a variety of events, things like Healthy Family Day, Chino Bike Day, our garden workshops that happen every third Saturday of the month, one for adults and one for children, and gardening tips for their gardens at home or for our community garden here that we have. And then we also have our Bark Around Ayala Park, our mobile stops to promote health and wellness. So celebrating 20 years of Healthy Chino celebrates the accomplishments and milestones we've reached in our program, things like our garden workshops and seeing our community garden thrive within the 20 years and our different programs and events.
Healthy Chino has spent 2 decades making wellness contagious through laughter, gardening, and most importantly, play. We are proud to be celebrating this awesome milestone. It's not even our only anniversary. We also celebrated the 25-year anniversary of the Chino Youth Museum. Let's hear from Victoria, one of our Chino Youth Museum board members, about what makes the museum such a special place to be.
We use play to foster learning because we make learning fun. It doesn't seem like it comes off as learning when the kids are having so much fun. And we also are very involved in the community with events too. So not only can they come and have fun and learn, but they can also go to community events with their whole family.
For 25 years, the Chino Youth Museum has sparked curiosity and creativity in young minds, laying the foundation for a lifetime of learning. This is a place where families connect, children discover, and the community comes together in play. The Chino Youth Museum isn't the only museum in town. We also have the Old School House Museum. We spent the past year building this great place for our community to come in and learn more about the history of Chino. Let's go to Linda, president of the Chino Valley Historical Society, to learn more.
This barn will be a symbol of all of the dairy and agricultural communities that we've had over the past hundreds of years. So this barn was a reflection of that kind of history that we have here in Chino.
The museum is a great place for everyone to enjoy. It is a shining example of how Chino is a place where we build together and play together.
Okay, and we have a proclamation, and it reads, whereas July is nationally celebrated as Parks and Recreation Month to promote building strong, vibrant, and resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation. 86% of U.S. adults seek high-quality parks and recreation programs when choosing a place to live. In Chino, we're fortunate to have over 251 acres of parkland and open space, which provides opportunities for our community to celebrate the outdoors. Parks and Recreation promotes physical and mental wellness for community members of all abilities through opportunities to be physically active and socialize with neighbors. Parks and recreation programs are vital to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in Chino and contribute to the economic and environmental well-being of our community. Parks and recreation programs provide positive alternatives for children and youth during non-school hours to reduce crime, helping youth develop and grow into healthy, productive adults. And whereas the Chino Community Services Parks and Recreation Department has adopted the California Park and Recreation Society's Parks Make Life Better slogan and logo to promote the benefits of parks and recreation. And whereas the City of Chino urges all its residents to recognize that parks and recreation enriches the lives of its residents and visitors, as well as adding value to the community's homes and neighborhoods, making Chino a great place to live, work, and play. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emuloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim July 2025 as Park and Recreation Month in the City of Chino and urge all residents to enjoy, recognize, and help promote the benefits derived from quality programs, services, and parks, which provide something of value to everyone. Bobby Martinez, who is the head of our Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission, is going to speak this evening.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yes, my name is Bobby Martinez. I'm the chair for the Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission. First of all, I'd like to say I'm very humbled and honored with all these individuals up here to receive this proclamation. So it's a special award and proclamation. Also, Mayor, I'd like to thank you, our members, our Mayor Pro Tem, staff, Linda, our manager. Thank all of you because it takes all of us, these individuals up here, support for what's happening in our city and our community. It's very special. As you see in the videos, that's just a portion of what's going on in the city. But there's so many things I want to say real quick that I got to remember. I want to thank our police department, our fire department. You guys are always there in our events. You guys are there keeping us safe, and we really appreciate that. Our staff, our community members, our public works, you guys are second to none. You guys do a great job keeping this city clean, healthy, and it's phenomenally beautiful at times. So you guys do a great job. Real quick, everybody that went to the fireworks show this past weekend, we've seen how busy it was. And I was talking to Ted, our deputy district manager here. He was telling me that about, I think, close to 9,000 people attended that. And I think it was Sunday, I walked the rounds over there, and it was just clean. It was amazing. So our Public Works Department, you guys do a phenomenal job. And now getting to these individuals right here in the green shirts. These guys, yeah, exactly. Yeah, woo! These guys do a phenomenal job. What I really wanted to do was give the mic to each one and have them say their names, but I think a little too many of them. So, but these guys are out there at every event. They're setting up. They're there long hours, and you know, as we go home, they're still out there. These guys are the backbone of this city. They really are. They really do deserve this proclamation. Everything the mayor read in this is true about this city, and that's why this city is so well loved, and it's a community that is just cherished, and I love being here and being part of it. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody here because it takes a team. Fire department, you know, police department, staff, everybody. It takes a team to make this city run in leadership. So thank you all. So congratulations on this. Yeah.
I also want to add, so when you see green shirts out there, those are the people that are bringing the fun to you. But behind the scenes, sometimes you notice the blue shirts, sometimes you don't. But these are the guys and gals that actually keep the city clean and neat and make sure everything is functional and operational. And so you've got a team. You've got blue and green working together to keep all of our recreation programs and our parks and everything that you enjoy here running effectively. So it's a true team, like Bobby said. So whenever you see a green shirt or a blue shirt, be sure to stop them and thank them, because they're very, very important to us. Thank you all for being here today. Now, somehow, Ariana wants to get a picture. So, Carla's going to do it. I don't know how this is going to work.
Get some people in front.
She's going to figure this out. I know. I used to be tall, but I'm shrinking. It's the biggest group we've ever had. Thank you. Next, we have our Business of the Month. Our Business of the Month is a place Chino residents know they can depend on during the busy tax season. With a commitment to honest and thorough service, we are proud to honor them. For the month of July 2025, we'd like to recognize Accredited Tax Incorporated as our Business of the Month. Will Marie come on up? And I hate to admit it, but you know what? I've never pronounced your last name.
Reichelt.
Reichelt. I would not have guessed that. That's almost as challenging as Uloa.
Yes, it is.
Accredited Tax Incorporated has been in business for 41 years and is a tight-knit team of 10 tax experts, some of whom have worked for the business for 30 years. They take pride in their personalized service and make a point to ensure their clients receive the highest level of service. We all know how overwhelming tax season can be, and Marie and her team have worked with people from all walks of life, making them feel safe and understood through the process. They love helping their customers breathe a sigh of relief. Being a full-service tax business, Accredited Tax Incorporated has served our business community for decades. A local business themselves, they know the importance of making sure each business is set up for success every year. Marie loves having a business in Chino and expressed admiration for how well Chino is run and represented by the City Council and city staff. Please join me in congratulating Accredited Tax Incorporated for being our July 2025 Business of the Month recipient. And Marie, I'd like to present this to you. It says, congratulations to Accredited Tax Incorporated, July 2025 Chino Business of the Month. The City of Chino thanks you for being a part of the Chino community, and it's presented this day by myself and the council.
Thank you. I am just so honored to be here, and I love Chino. I lived in Upland and worked and had my office there in the past, out of the 41 years, half there, half here. And I remember when God sent me to Chino, I went, oh no, it smells there. I don't want to go there. And I just fell in love with Chino. I just love it. I can't imagine being anywhere else. And this was a tough act to follow, this Parks and Rec and this whole thing. But I want to be able to do something for you, so I brought along the big, beautiful bill, and I was going to read it to you. No? Oh, no, I'm not going to read any of it. But I'm sure you're all excited about the no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, and we'll see what else will happen once the House goes back and scrubs it up.
Well, I'm sure you'll stay right on top of everything. She's been our tax person for years and years and years, and I have to tell you, it's a pleasure to go to Marie. I mean, it's
have
hard.
fun.
We do. We have fun. I mean, she's just a great person. Personality is fine. You can always get in, make an appointment, even if you're at the last minute, which we've been for a couple of years. But she's just more than willing to help you even during the year if you have questions. You know, if your status. Yeah. Well. But if your status has changed, or if you've moved, or you've had some financial challenges, I mean, she's there all year long to help you. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you.
it's a pleasure to recognize you, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's give her another hand. Oops. Marie. Marie, wait. Okay, prior to our meeting, we had closed session, which has not concluded. So, Fred, will we just go back into closed session after our business portion, correct?
Yes, I can report on the two items that were discussed.
Okay.
And I was prepared
Would
to
you please?
announce that we would recess into closed session on the last item. Thank you. The City Council met in closed session and discussed the following items. Item number 1, conference with legal counsel. 1 item of anticipated litigation under the heading significant exposure to litigation. City Council received an update, provided direction, and no further reportable action was taken. Item number 2, conference with real property negotiator concerning the property at 15180 Euclid Avenue in the city of Chino, with negotiating party being State of California. Under negotiation price and terms of potential acquisition, City Council received an update and no further reportable action was taken on that. And on item number 3, as mentioned by the mayor, conference with labor negotiator, the City Council has not completed its discussions of that item and will reconvene after the open session, so it would be appropriate to withhold the report on that item until after the council concludes.
Okay. City Manager Wright, do we have any additions or changes to our agenda?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Under information, we have a presentation from Otis Greer from the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. Otis?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come and share a little bit about Measure I, and hopefully I'll be able to solicit from you and the residents of Chino some feedback on plans for the future with this funding source, this important funding source for the County of San Bernardino. It's really interesting when you think about the many transportation projects and infrastructure programs that have been put in place and delivered without any recognition of where the money came from. And unfortunately, Measure I has been one of those kind of secretive funding sources. Things get built, roads get improved, infrastructure projects are delivered, but the funding source isn't really recognized. So we're here to draw attention to that if possible. For those who don't know, I represent the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority, SBCTA, which is led by a board of directors that are made up of elected officials from the 24 cities and towns, as well as the 5 county supervisors. Mayor Ulloa represents the city of Chino on that board. The agency began back in 1973 as a council of governments and has evolved into an agency for the region that is responsible for managing the Measure I, which is a half-cent sales tax in San Bernardino County. Measure I is a local sales tax that is managed locally for local benefits. Given the challenges we've seen both in Sacramento and Washington, D.C., having a source like Measure I that stays local may be one of the best taxpayer investments that we might have. Measure I has been around for about 35 years now, and it's hard to imagine what the county would look like if we didn't have that important funding sources. In the Valley, critical projects such as State Route 210 have been built. The Metrolink program was put together, as well as a host of grade separation interchanges here in Chino, 71, as well as the 60 Central interchange. If you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to show you just a brief video and highlight some of the benefits of Measure I. If I do this correctly. Am I doing it right?
San Bernardino County is on the move, and it's thanks in large part to Measure I. First approved by voters in 1989 and again in 2004, Measure I is a half-cent sales tax dedicated to improving transportation across the county, and over the years, it's delivered real results. From extending the SR 210 freeway from LA County into Redlands to easing congestion and cutting commute times, Measure I has made travel safer, more convenient, and faster for everyone. In our cities and neighborhoods, Measure I dollars have improved traffic signals, upgraded interchanges like SR 60 and Central Avenue in Chino, and repaved local roads like Nisqually Road in Victorville, keeping local streets running smoothly. For public transit riders, Measure I brought the introduction of Metrolink to San Bernardino County, expanded bus routes, the introduction of zero-emission bus and train options, and more accessible transit, connecting more people to jobs, schools, and healthcare. And it doesn't stop there. Measure I also supports bike lanes, pedestrian safety, and planning for future mobility, all while boosting our local economy by creating jobs and supporting construction projects across the region. What's another great thing about Measure I? It's locally controlled. That means San Bernardino County and city leaders decide how funds are spent rather than being directed by outside agencies. Because of Measure I, transportation in San Bernardino County isn't just keeping up, it's moving forward. Moving forward together with Measure I.
So Measure I, as the video mentioned, was initially passed in 1989 and ran from 1990 to 2010. The success of that initial measure was so strong that the board went back to the voters in 2004 ahead of the sunset of the initial measure, and the voters overwhelmingly supported it for an additional 30 years. So we are now in year 35 of the two measures that have been put together. The current one sunsets in the year 2040. When you think about Measure I, to give you some context, we've generated approximately $2.5 billion in transportation infrastructure, and a quarter of that money was leveraged to obtain the $2.9 billion. So essentially, about $700 million was used to generate about $2.9 billion. That includes state, federal grants, and additional investments. And one of the neat things about this is the jobs. 32,000 jobs approximately have been created with that funding source, which has certainly been an important benefit to the community. Looking at some of the projects that have been done, these are more of the regional projects, the 210 extension that we spoke about, express lanes on the 15 freeway, on the 10 freeway. We are currently working on express lanes on the 15, interchanges, as well as grade separation. And then we also came to the city to ask about priorities here. What are the things that are important to you in this community that have been completed, as well as those that you're thinking about moving on into the future? And some of the elements of the measure that I think are important to point out is how dedicated and prescribed those dollars are. and how carefully managed those resources are. There's an independent taxpayer oversight committee that does audits on how those resources are spent to make sure that the dollars are used appropriately. Only 1% of Measure I can be used for administrative cost. Our staff is about 85 full-time employees added to our consultants and construction teams that are hired on by projects to assist us in the delivery of these important projects. The funds are not used to supplant other funding sources, so a city that receives funds or the county that receives funds are not allowed to use those in other areas outside of transportation projects. And it is a regional program. Dollars that are generated in certain areas, in certain geographical locations are returned to those geographical locations. And so my purpose here today was to give you a brief insight into what Measure I is, how it functions, and the benefits that it has brought to taxpayers here in the county of San Bernardino. But we're thinking about the future of the measure and have put together a plan to contemplate what the future might look like in transportation, and we'd love to get your feedback as well as the feedback from the residents and stakeholders of the city of Chino. So we asked them to go to our website, gosbcta.com, where there is an opportunity to look at the plan and share with us your thoughts on priorities and projects that are important to the city of Chino into the future. And that is the conclusion of my brief presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Otis. I would just notice that for the city of Chino, there has been approximately $25 million collected for us, and we have spent approximately $22 million to date. So I have a whole list of projects that have been completed, which, Linda, can we put this on our website? Okay, we'll have a section on our website about Measure I and the benefits that have come to Chino to date since 2010. Of course, there's much more to be done.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm really hoping that our citizens will go on your website and take the survey.
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe you can hear some of the complaints that we hear, like Highway 71, Euclid Avenue, Pine Avenue, things like that I know SBCTA is going to help us with. Any comments from council members? Thank you very much for being here, Otis.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, under public announcements, Chino's Summer Nights. Summer is officially here, which means it's the perfect time to listen to music or catch a movie on the City Hall lawn. Join us on Thursday, July 10th to watch 90s Rock Show at 7 p.m. during the Kiwanis Summer Concerts on the lawn right here at City Hall. On Friday, July 11th, don't miss a free screening of The Emperor's New Groove at 8:30 p.m. during our Chino Summer Nights outdoor movie series. Join the fun and don't forget to bring your lawn chairs and blankets. For more information, please visit cityofchino.org/events. Next, we have Seniors at the Square. We also have exciting events planned for our seniors. Join us every Monday from July 7th to August 11th from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. for Seniors at the Square, a free and fun summer concert series held at Aguirre Square between C and D Streets on 6th Street. Bring a lawn chair and your favorite snacks and prepare to dance the night away. For more information about the Seniors at the Square, call the Chino Senior Center at 909-334-3271. Next, we have a family campout. Want to spend a beautiful Chino night under the stars? You're invited to the annual family campout on Saturday, July 12th at Ayala Park, located at 14225 Central Avenue. The family campout will feature exciting games, fun activities, and a movie screening. Dinner and breakfast will be provided, and participants must bring their own tents and sleeping bags. Space is limited, so register today by visiting cityofchino.org/events. And last, our holiday closure. Also, please note that City Hall and city facilities will be closed this Friday, July 4th, in recognition of the Independence Day holiday. We will reopen for our regular business hours on Monday, July 7th. Additionally, there will be no waste collection on Friday, July 4th. Services will be delayed by one day and will take place on Saturday, July 5th. And we all hope that you have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. Next on our agenda is public comment and communication. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere. Our first written request to speak is Pastor John Mata from Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley. He's going to lead us in an invocation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On behalf of Pastor David Rosales and Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley, this is a great opportunity for us to lead in prayer. Let's pray. Father, we come before you this evening in the name of Jesus with gratitude for the opportunity to gather and lead in service to this beautiful community. Thank you for the city of Chino and for the men and women who faithfully serve it. Tonight, we lift up our Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council member, City Attorney, and City Manager. Grant them the wisdom, unity, and integrity to make decisions for the good of all. May they lead with humility, courage, and to serve. We also pray for all of those who protect and respond in times of need. Our police officers, including the police captain, our firefighters and fire captain, and every first responder. Surround them with your protection and strength. Give them peace in danger, wisdom in crisis, and honor in their service. Let this meeting be guided by justice, clarity, compassion, but most of all, by your Spirit. And may Chino continue to be a city marked by peace, perfect purpose, and unity. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, John. Next written request to speak is Sophia Cohen, field rep for Assemblymember Michelle Rodriguez.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City staff, and of course our residents. My name is Sophia Cohen. I'm a field representative for Assemblymember Michelle Rodriguez, and I'm excited to share that we will be hosting our inaugural summer barbecue the upcoming Saturday, July 12th. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at our district office. The address is 13160 7th Street in Chino. We're going to be having a couple of resources there, and we're also going to be holding a ceremony to recognize a couple of local leaders from each city in our district. So I genuinely hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Next, we have Betty Celio from our Chino Branch Library.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the San Bernardino County Library System and the Chino Branch Library to promote our summer reading program that we have going on. It started on June 9th. It runs through to August the 2nd, and it is open to all ages. So that means that all of you are able to participate. And I did take the liberty of bringing summer reading program bags for everyone here. And I hope that you will be able to visit us when you do get a chance. The goal is to have the whole family engaged at reading together. There are weekly prizes to earn when weekly goals are met, and there are opportunities to win grand prizes. So to participate, you would just need to register on Beanstack. It's our online tracking platform. And you read and log the reading and visit the library to get your prize, and then you repeat. So we have weekly programs and performers this summer. We have our Full Spectrum Electricity Show coming out tomorrow at 4 p.m. So please join us for that. Next week we have our mobile zoo. And then on July 16th, we have our very own Chino Valley Fire Department coming out as well. And just a few purposes that I would like to mention for the summer reading program, which is my favorite part of the summer reading program. It fulfills multi-purposes. So the first one is it helps students to maintain their reading levels throughout the summer, so they go back to school fully prepared. It is also a free and recreational and educational resource for the community. And the summer reading program has the highest circulation and program attendance throughout the year, and the numbers get reported to our state, and it lets them know that the library is an integral part of the community. And so I would love to answer any questions that you may have.
Do you have a website that people can go to find out more information?
So yes, so we have our homepage, and it is sbclib.org, and it may transfer you to our new website. We also have our Beanstack. The Beanstack account, so the online tracking platform is www.sbcbeanstack.com.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Maureen Mo Mendoza.
Dear Chino City Council, I am writing to express my serious concerns regarding the ARC, current capacity and preparedness to meet the comprehensive needs of the animals within the cities it serves. It has become apparent after a year and a half that the ARC facility is too small to even accommodate a small surgical area, not adequately equipped to provide the necessary medical care and resources for the animals it is responsible for. While ARC is trying to provide the most effective services they can to the cities they serve, they are having a new custom-built mobile clinic manufactured. This process, per the executive director, Mr. Thacker, will take at least 6 months and possibly more before the mobile clinic is ready for deployment. We don't even know how much the cities under ARC will be financially liable for this new mobile clinic. This delay carries significant implications for the animals under the ARC care. Without immediate and accessible spray and neutering services, we anticipate a notable increase in unwanted litters of cats and dogs. This will cause overcrowded facilities in the future for the ARC and nearby animal shelters. The magnitude, the severe impacts of the animal overpopulation resulting from ARC's current operation status and the prolonged absence of a mobile clinic spray and neuter service or surgical area in the ARC building, I believe it's time for the cities under ARC to initiate an urgent collaborative partnership with the Inland Valley Humane Society. This critical collaboration will enable us to access the vital help required to protect our cities with the necessary animal welfare needed. The Inland Valley Humane Society has extended a critical lifeline to the ARC by generously offering the availability of their mobile clinic to help enhance ARC's ability to provide the much-needed services of spray and neutering of dogs and cats. This service would help provide the essential veterinarian services and address pet overpopulation in the cities under ARC. I realize this service would come as an additional cost to the cities under the ARC, but it is one service that is needed and cannot wait. Also, there is still an issue of if the ARC has a veterinarian on staff or by third-party contract. Per the California Veterinary Medical Board, VMP, Brittany Rainey is a veterinarian listed for the ARC's shelter veterinarian premises license. Per Mr. Tacker, they are still in the process of hiring a veterinarian for ARC. The ARC attorney, Nicholas Norvell, said Brittany Rainey is a third-party contract veterinarian, but there has been no ARC agenda for this contract. It seems there is a lack of transparency, a big lack of transparency, with the ARC board, and you can get multiple different answers to one question. I urge the City Council to conduct a thorough review of the ARC resources for the animals that are under their care. I believe it is critical to assess whether the shelter has the necessary funds, space, and staff to properly care for the animals under its purview. Thank you for your time and attention to this critical matter. I look forward to receiving a written response regarding these concerns. Thank you.
Next written request to speak is Terry Carver.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I apologize for my appearance. I have been at a fireworks booth since yesterday, including an overnight, and I feel badly for the people behind me that are downwind. My situation is about the fireworks booth in our area, and I'd like to address it. According to your website, in order to have a booth, you are strictly enforcing laws and fines and to the booths for fundraisers in the city, organizations that are nonprofit. And if I quote it properly, it says they must adhere to strict guidelines to be allowed to sell fireworks and must show the funds raised are returned to the city community, the Chino community. Our booth is a little unique. We're on a large field, and to the north of us, the entrance is very hard to see and difficult to maneuver. We last year tried to market with the wind flags from TNT just so that, especially at night, people could see this entrance further down. It's about, 50 feet or more, 75 feet down from the regular entrance that you can get if you come from the south. So it's kind of a difficult situation there. So we tried to put up wind flags from TNT last year at the entrance so people could see them, particularly at night, very easily. And the city came through and said we had to take them down. We could not have flags or banners at our booth. Then we noticed down the street, about a half a mile north of us, there was a booth that had a banner on their fireworks booth. And I guess they were asked to take it down, which they did, but very quickly it went back up. And it was up all 4 days. So we adhered to not putting ours back up, even though we felt it was more of a safety issue, and marking the parking lot, the entrance to the parking lot. So we spoke at the fireworks meeting about this situation a couple months ago. Last night, as I was heading down there to stay the overnight shift after going home and trying to take a quick shower, I noticed a banner on the booth. So when one of our people came in earlier that morning, they said there was not only one banner on the booth, but there was one staked in the ground in front of it. So to me, that's kind of breaking the regulation of no banners, no flags that we had to adhere to. Bear with me. I'm really tired. I'm on an hour and a half sleep. Let me catch up to where I'm doing. So we're kind of wondering why they're allowed to break the rules. Again, because they did it last year, and they were told last year not to put them up. They returned to put them up, and now immediately last night they had one banner up, this morning 2 banners up. Apparently we've had some help, and apparently code enforcement came out, and as I left the booth at 5 o'clock tonight, there were no banners facing the street. I'm just hoping that that continues for the next 4 or 5 days, because it does affect, what their banner reads does affect other booths in Chino. My understanding, our booth is for the benefit of our community and particularly our youth, because I know I've done with Don Lugo, and the booth we have is for a youth soccer team, so that the parents won't have to pay a fortune for their kids to play competitive soccer. So, and we so much appreciate that we're able to do this. So I think that's all I have to say. I wrote this down real quickly coming from the booth. I just hope that we all need to follow the same rules, or something needs to be addressed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And I would ask that Public Works follow up and make sure that all the booths are treated equally. Let's see. Diane Boudreau.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Good evening. Just here to say thank you, Mayor. You did respond to the governor's housing issues regarding local control. And, today he made his broad announcement. He signed his budget. Witnessing the Eden Project was heartbreaking, just to see that, have a front row seat to that, because we believe that Chino takes care in their vision. We support your vision, and that was not part of our vision. And to have their attorney, their counsel come in just right at the last minute and say, if you don't impose builder remedy, we're going to go ahead and follow through with the lawsuit. So that type of intimidation in the city, it's just heartbreaking. And the affordable housing, who defines what that really is? Out of 262 units, you have 24 that are deemed affordable. Any bill passed with that as a base is just a developer delight. It's a builder giveaway. And the money is in stack and pack and high occupancy, overcrowding. It's not in single family. And if I'm a developer, I'm going to pack them in as much as I can. I'm not going to worry about infrastructure. Most families are two wage earners, so that's 2 cars per unit. That's not going to happen. Not in any builder remedy. That's not going to happen. And if there is continuing action at this point, that basis for affordability is so misleading. If that's the base from the Eden Project, if we're using that as a measurement tool for affordability, that the whole bill is misleading. And there's more than one, there's several. The authors, are probably well-intended. However, that might be for, San Francisco and LA, okay, I get it. I understand that. But right there at Eden Project, not so much. So we're enforcing that one-size-fits-all, and I just wanted to say thank you for at least reaching out and opposing that, because it does a disservice for those that want to maintain local control. And while you meet with the zoning specifications to have it flipped again, it's unfortunate because maybe that, whatever the governor's office and the well-minded Assembly and Senate, whatever they thought in increasing units, well, you can increase all the units, but that doesn't mean you're increasing the quality of life. And if you're not going to address the affordability issue, then you're really dealing in speculation, because now you're not making it affordable, it's speculating, and that's going to drive it up. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome, Diane.
Take care.
Just so the public knows, we did write a letter, and all the mayors in the West End signed it except for Ranch Cucamonga. And so far, the mayors, the governor's office, the governor himself will not meet with us. He's offered to have his staff meet with us, but he won't. So we're still fighting that. Okay, next, Louis Schmidt.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, and City Manager. My name is Louis Schmidt. I'm the business representative with Aspen District Council 36. I'm here to speak on behalf of Local 3183, your proud public works employees, who you just praised alongside with community services. It was great to hear that proclamation about supporting your employees, supporting the work they do, recognizing that even though we have public safety that is crucial, that we must have clean parks and clean facilities for people to use and to keep people out of trouble. And so it takes a well-rounded group like that working together, regardless of the shirt that you're wearing, whether you're wearing green or blue. It takes all those employees working together to keep this city the city that it is, to keep people coming in and visiting the city and spending money in the city, because you have to have a well-rounded city in order to keep the community prosperous and going forward. Now, we participated in contract negotiations with the city. We haven't quite come to an agreement yet, but we're still moving forward. We're still trying to go positive in that positive direction. We know that we can reach that goal, working together, and we'll continue to work with the city manager's team to achieve that goal. Standing next to me is Alex Banuelos. He's the president of the union, but he's also your fleet mechanic, one of your fleet mechanics, that makes sure that when public safety needs a car to respond, it's there, it works. They don't have to worry about turning on the keys and not working. It's employees like that that keep the city running. Joe Morrison, raise your hand. Almost 38 years with the city. And he born and raised here in Chino. And then next to him we have Frank Ruiz. This October he's going to be 45 years with the city. And Frank is the one that works in water production. Some of you sit on some water boards, and it's important to have clean water. Yes, we love the public safety that the public safety provides, the officers, but if we don't have clean water, safe parks, then this is not a city that people want to be in. Mm-hmm. So it's the collective goal of everybody, even our members from Parks and Rec, that maintain the parks and facilities. That's crucial work that everybody relies on. They're the unspoken heroes of the city, along with our community services people. And so earlier we heard the pastor talk about compassion, leading with compassion. And so even though item number 3 will still be discussed in closed session, the third item, we ask that when you go back into closed session that you consider, yes, it was a great proclamation that the council gave, and that's important for our members, but also important is an equitable economic package. Now, we know that contractually, public safety has it in their contract to be stay competitive number 3. We're not even asking for that. We're asking just to be competitive, not number 3, but we're asking to be competitive, and I believe that you can back up that proclamation by directing the city manager and her team to go back, continue to work with us so that we can continue the work of providing public service that our members do. Again, Frank Ruiz will retire sometime soon, but imagine all this institutional knowledge that he has with him, and Joe Morrison and whatnot. So all that institutional knowledge, we want that to get passed on. We want the city to be a place where people come and stay, not come and get their certifications and go elsewhere, because that doesn't do the city any good. So again, we're committed to continuing the hard work, and again, our members love to serve, and we're going to continue to do that. And just wanted to say thank you for your leadership, Mayor, and thank you for recognizing the hard work that your employees do. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next written request to speak is Carissa Ramirez.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Ramirez, and I'm back to express my continued disappointment and growing concern with Chino's response to the ICE raids that have been taking place in our city. I would like first to address that the chief's response and the council's lack of response to my comments last meeting only solidify that my claims are correct. Our police department confirmed once again, this time in the official Chino Champion, that they are willing to provide aid to ICE. Regardless of how many times Senate Bill 54 is cited as a distraction to insinuate that the Chino PD is not helping because they're not making the arrests themselves, it is beyond clear at this point that providing help to ICE is not off the table completely. I personally wonder if the increased helicopter pilots that were requested at a council meeting earlier this year and the increased helicopter routes in areas that I personally, with my own 2 eyes, have seen ICE cars in, is some of this so-called mutual aid. but I digress. The one thing that is of great concern to me is Chief Menson's comment in the Champion that said he was not aware of any recent ICE activity in Chino. I assume this council has access to similar information he does about this matter, so I'm telling you that as a private citizen, I can confirm ICE has been here for the entire month of June, as recently as June 12th, a few days before the last council meeting when I spoke. I don't have time to rattle off the many cross streets that have confirmed presence, although this information is readily available on the internet, and I will follow up with these cross streets and screenshots to you individually in an email. They have been reported all across Chino, on Walnut and Central even, right by the police department. This leaves us with two possibilities. One, if we assume best intent that our city's leaders and police really did not know of the ICE presence. Then that would mean that the threat isn't just that ICE is ravaging our communities, but an additional threat that comes from the city council and our police department's lack of awareness of what's actually going on here. Or the other option, assuming ICE presence was actually known by anybody on this governing body or by the police, which would mean that we as citizens are being lied to. Either one of these possibilities is a problem. One shows that the police are unaware of the dangers presently in our city and are not protecting our community members from being kidnapped by masked agents in unmarked cars, potentially with invalid warrants. The other shows that the police and city council know and don't care. I personally can't figure out which is more of a failure to duty and a misuse of the public's trust. I would also like to note that the minutes taken about my comments last meeting neglected to record that I explicitly asked the city council and police department to make a public response on the ICE situation. I will acknowledge that Chief Menson did follow up with the same response that was posted on Facebook, so it's neither here nor there. But the other public commenters' calls to actions during the last meeting were reflected in the minutes, and I can't understand why my request specifically was not included. Another example I'd like to add to the list of the council using its power to shirk accountability to your constituents' concerns. So I will make tonight's request clear. As elected public officials responsible for representing all of your constituents, I am urging you to make a public comment that addresses the issues I raised tonight, especially since I theoretically provided you with new information about raids that you did not know were happening here. Your continued silence and oversight is unacceptable and dangerous. Thank you.
Those are the only written requests I have to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that has not spoken yet on any item that is not on the agenda that would like to come forward? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to our agenda. We have the consent calendar. Do any members wish to have any items pulled? Okay, seeing none, then I would entertain a motion in a second. We have a motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. And the consent calendar passes unanimously. Under new business, item number 12, amendment to Chapter 3.32.130, approval authority of the Chino Municipal Code. This is to approve the introduction of ordinance number 2025-004, amendment to chapter number 32.32.130, approval authority of the Chino Municipal Code. Our staff report this evening will be provided by Fred Galante, our city attorney.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. The item before you is a requested modification to your municipal code to address what has been identified as an issue of inefficiency, namely in the requisition of vehicles for the city. The bidding process and the time to both create the procurement invitation as well as bring the item to council has resulted in some missed opportunities to secure vehicles at competitive pricing. So before you is a suggestion to address that and allow for more expeditious acquisition of vehicles, and that is really the identified item that needs, in light of some quickly moving pricing of vehicles, that is the one item that is identified in this action item suggested. So the proposed amendment to the ordinance is to maintain the city manager's maximum requisition authorization of $150,000 overall, with the exception of the procurement of vehicles that will not have a maximum threshold, and that your city manager would be authorized to expeditiously secure those, assuming the items are budgeted and within the amounts budgeted by council. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council on item number 12? Okay, seeing none. Are there any council comments or questions? Okay, then I would entertain a motion. There's a motion from Council Member Comstock, second by Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Our city attorney will now read the ordinance by number and title only.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council is considering before it ordinance number 25004, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, amending provisions of the Chino Municipal Code, amending Chapter 3.32 relating to the city's purchasing system for approval authority. And that's being read by title and waiving further reading. Thank you.
Okay, please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 13, accept the Highway Safety Improvement Program Cycle 12 funding from the California Department of Transportation and establish Capital Improvement Project TR-262, Central Avenue Traffic Signal Safety Improvement Project. Accept Cycle 12 funding for $225,450 from Caltrans and approve the establishment of a new CIP project entitled Central Avenue Traffic Signal Safety Improvements TR-262 with a total budget of $250,500. Staff report this evening will be provided by our traffic engineer, Dennis Rawls, and our Deputy Director of Public Works, City Engineer, Albert Espinoza.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Before you tonight for your consideration is the acceptance of a grant that the city staff has sought. The Highway Safety Improvement Program grant, or HSIP, aims to reduce traffic collisions throughout the city. To be eligible for this grant, the city had to previously complete its local roadway safety plan, which we completed and the council adopted in April of 2023. In that document, a comprehensive look at traffic collisions in the city was identified, and some areas of high concern were introduced as needing countermeasures to help address collision information. So with that, it identified Central Avenue as having one of the highest collision rates in the city. And so with this grant application that we presented, we're looking to address some of those concerns. To be awarded this grant, you had to apply and provide information and compete against other projects proposed by other cities and demonstrate a good cost-benefit ratio based on the problems you were solving and the countermeasures you were using that were proven to solve those issues. We expect, as city staff, to apply for this grant every time it comes out so that we phase in these safety improvements citywide. So with that, the scope of the grant includes Central Avenue from Phillips Avenue to Riverside Drive, where we'll be aiming to retrofit the traffic signals, all 10, between those two intersections, to install and modify the traffic signal indications with those yellow bordered retroreflective backplates. In addition, two other intersections on Central at Philadelphia and Washington will have what we call near side heads installed. If you stop at this traffic signal, usually the traffic signal indications are on the far side. We're proposing to add near sides, so the same side that you would stop on, to help improve visibility, which hopefully results in reduced collision rates. To do this, we've provided in the grant that we intend to complete this work by December of 2027. Now, typically, that's a bit longer than we would take to do this kind of work. However, being a grant to the state, there's several more steps we have to follow, so we've padded our timeline accordingly. To illustrate what we're talking about, this is a representation of Central Avenue, identifying the 10 intersections that were in our application, and the yellow backplates that we intend to install. This would be all traffic signal indications that those intersections would receive this retrofit. It's very similar to what was recently completed at Central Bridge Project with the SBCTA, as well as what we just completed at Fern and Eucalyptus traffic signal recently. And then the near side heads are shown on the right, the 2 intersections at Philadelphia and Washington. These safety improvements come on the recent completion of high visibility crosswalks, which were recently installed by our services team with recent restriping of Central Avenue. Now the good news. The total project budget is $250,500. Of that budget, 90% of that comes from the grant. So with the acceptance of the grant tonight, we will be receiving a reimbursement amount of $225,450, of which Measure I, which was just spoke about earlier today, will be used to meet our 10% local match. So we'll be using that. So no general funds will be used for this project. With that, staff is recommending tonight that the City Council accept and appropriate the grant funding in the amount of $225,450 in HSIP Cycle 12 Caltrans funding, establish the grant G7262 and the CIP projects TR262 for this project, and appropriate the $25,050 in Measure I funding as our local match, and authorize the city manager to execute all related documents. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, council comments or questions? Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Dennis, thank you for the presentation. I'm looking forward to these improvements to our traffic signals. I also am hoping that once we have the work completed, we can conduct a study to see, to evaluate the effectiveness of the installation of these, because if it's as effective as you're stating, it's probably worthy of us exploring it in other locations. Lastly, while I was reading the staff report, it just reminded me of you're going to be doing some work in an area with the council's permission. I'd also like us to take a look at the naming of Columbus Avenue. Columbus Avenue is essentially what I would call a dead street in the community. There is nothing on that street that is addressed that, including the Skate Express, everything else. I actually think it may be more appropriately titled Guardian Way as another access to the police department for our public when they're getting off of Central Avenue. But to my knowledge, there's nothing on Columbus Avenue that has an address, and maybe it's time for us to just evaluate if it would be better suited for us moving forward for it to be titled Guardian Way. And those are my comments.
Okay. Any other comments? So if the street will be renamed, will that be coming back to us?
Yes, that would have to come back for separate consideration and action.
Okay.
I'm just asking for staff to look at it. If we decide for whatever reason that we would like to keep it that, I have no objection to it, but I just know that it's not, and I think it provides an opportunity for it to give more visibility to the entrance of the Chino Police Department as well.
Okay, if there are no other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion and a second, please. Oops. Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Flores, second by Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. And I can't. My screen has gotten goofy. I have no idea.
Restart Teams. Why is Teams even open?
I don't know.
Which one are we on? This one?
It's weird.
I don't know.
Mayor, do you want to provide your voice vote? I'll record it here.
Yeah. There are 4 yes votes, and mine will be yes as well. Okay. Next, we have item number 14, Animal Resource Center of the Inland Empire, FY 24-25 fund allocation. approve the retroactive appropriation for FY 24-25 of $2,502,554 to the general fund for operations and capital costs to the Animal Resource Center of the Inland Empire. Staff report this evening will be provided by Jackie Melendez, our Assistant City Manager.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. I would like to begin my report by letting you and the public know that the Animal Resource Center of the Inland Empire is now officially open for business. Today is officially day one. As a team, we have been working backwards from July 1, 2025 for quite some time in anticipation for today's opening. Today, we issued a joint press release letting the public know we are open for business. We can access, the public can access the website directly at arcinlandempire.org or visit the City of Chino's website at cityofchino.org/ARC. That's ARC. On the site, members of the community will find a sign-up form for volunteering and fostering, and also you can view adoptable animals. That page is live. There are dogs and cats and even an adorable white rabbit on our site looking for a family to call their home now. Please be warned, searching the page is dangerous as the risk of falling in love is very high. Lastly, I'd like the public to know that existing pet license records have been transferred over to the ARC. The ARC uses DocuPet, so you should have a smooth transition when going to register or renew your pets. The temporary shelter is located at 1630 Shearwater Street in Ontario. You can also call 909-321-1080 for questions. All of the activities of the ARC that led to our opening today definitely have a cost. We have been working closely with our partners to staff and to build the ARC at our temporary location. The City of Ontario, as a partner, has taken on the responsibility of paying bills and taking the lead in making sure that operations are up and running as we got the ARC ready for today. Tonight before you, we're asking for the retroactive budget allocation for fiscal year 2024 and 25. The adjusted fiscal year 2024-25 ARC budget overall is it's $8.9 million, and the City of Chino is responsible for 28% of that share, which is, as the mayor said, $2,502,534. This includes operating expenses such as salaries, benefits, supplies, materials, vehicles, contractual obligations, one-time expenses related to the building of the temporary shelter. The estimated budget for the new fiscal year, which starts today, is approximately $6.8 million. Chino's share of the budget is estimated at $1.9 million, which has been budgeted in the City of Chino's fiscal year 25-26 budget. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our partners and the ARC staff for everything they've done to get us to this point today. I'd like to thank the volunteers in our community, working with the volunteer groups who service the various from fostering. If you are a foster pet parent in Chino, thank you. Please consider coming to our website and signing up to foster with the ARC. Volunteer with us. Working with the various pet organizations. Every time I see a cat as I drive by, I look at it very differently now. I usually am that person that stops for the dogs and say, go home, or see if they have a tag. Thank you to all the people in our community who also care for all of the various animals. Now I'm one of those people that actually stops and thinks about the kittens and whether or not they have been serviced. So thank you to the volunteers. Thank you to our council for leading this effort to take care of our pets in our community, and Mayor Pro Tem Burton for representing us on the JPA. This has been, to get to today, it has been quite a journey. We've learned a lot along the way, and we are excited for what this new day represents for our community. And we highly encourage anybody who wants to work with us and volunteer and foster. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. That concludes my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, Mayor.
Before I call on the audience, Jackie, I just have one question. When did animals coming from Chino, when did they get brought into the Ark from Inland Valley?
Yes, the first ones came over on June 18th from Montclair. The first ones from Chino, we had you recall there was an item that we brought to council allowing for 10 days for any bite.
Right.
And over the last couple of weeks, our team has been transferring over animals to make sure that they were in our care by today.
Okay, and if I don't recall the amount, if they had not been transferred to our care by today, what was Inland Valley going to charge us per animal per day?
There were different accountings, but there was quite a large penalty for having those animals. There were several different ones, so I don't want to go through exactly what they were, but some estimates were as high as $5,000
per day.
For different. It's complicated in that some animals are held for different reasons. So we have been working on the transfer. The ARC staff has worked on the transfer. There were many conversations to make sure that we had our animals in our care, and then also the other Montclair had to come a little sooner than some of the other agencies. But we have been working on that transition and that transfer for the last several weeks. And
so there was a range of costs all the way up to $5,000 a day if we didn't get the animals away from Inland Valley.
That's correct.
Crazy. Okay, thank you. We have one written request to speak.
Mayor, I have one additional comment on that.
Okay, Kyra.
Did we incur any penalties?
I'm not aware of any penalties today. I will allow the team to have a good night's rest. I'm sure it's been a crazy couple of weeks for them, and we'll circle back with the team tomorrow and see how today went. And I'm not aware of any at this time.
Thanks, Jackie.
I'm not aware, but I will make sure that the council is abreast if there are any penalties.
Okay.
We did work really hard to make sure that that didn't happen.
We have one written request to speak. Maureen Mendoza.
The first statement that I'd like to make is the crazy amount. You guys keep telling me, give ARC time, give ARC time. They've had over 2 years. So there should have been a plan, a smooth plan to transition, so there would be no penalties. Common sense kind of tells you that, okay? Next, I don't know if all these board members know it, but we're already leasing a new building, because guess what? The building that they had was too small. When I went to the San Diego Humane Society, I was the only public person there. It's too small, okay? Why did they start to do anything on that building? Why didn't they get a new building? $2.5 million. And now on the ARC agenda today, they approved leasing another building. And guess what? Guess what that building will not have? Just take a guess. No surgical unit. It'll just house the staff. Some of the staff have a little meeting room. It'll be a storage area, things like that. Why didn't they branch out in the area kind of nearby to see if they could get a bigger building so we could have surgical needs that are necessary? You guys told me, give you guys time. It's going to be like Inland Valley Humane Society. I called up at 3:45 to ARC, said, hey, I have a puppy, needs some vaccines, needs puppy shots. And she told me, I said, how do I go about doing that? She says, oh, I'm sorry, we don't offer that. I'm like, oh, you don't offer that? Can you tell me where I should go? She goes, just a minute. Guess where I'm gonna go? Inland Valley Humane Society. So I don't understand, $2.5 million And that's last year's budget. This year's 1.9. Does this year budget include that almost $14,000 a month for the rent space for the new building? Does it? I believe you could answer that question, because then it's going to be more than 1.9 million. We don't have nothing compared to Inland Valley Humane Society. All we have right now is a Humane Society that can take in animals, and that's it, and adopt out. Not only that, thank God Inland Valley Humane Society was nice enough to keep the fosters that were in Chino, Ontario, and Montclair. And Burton, you just keep thinking it's funny when I talk, you know, but I'm really pissed off. I'm pissed off on your votes, that you don't ask the questions that you need to on ARC, that the mayor says that, hey, it's an ARC issue. Well, guess what? You're a part of the ARC. You wanted to be part of the ARC because you guys constantly said Inland Valley Humane Society wouldn't give you what you guys wanted, okay? But now us people and our animals, hey, we don't got nothing. That's it. All we have is a cage and an adoption. That's it for now. There's nothing else. And I ask these questions. I look them up. Look at the paperwork that I got for you guys. I'm constantly told there is no veterinarian. Look at the date when that permit was issued. The permit license for the veterinarian was issued. And apparently, I guess to Tacker, it's not the veterinarian for ARC. It's gonna be something else. I don't know, because then you had the lawyers say, the lawyer says that she's a third party. Well, you have Clint saying that, hey, they haven't hired a veterinarian yet. But can you just imagine when I called at 3:45 and got that? They can't even give out shots. You have no surgical center. You have no mobile unit clinic. We had one of the rescues already talking about that to the ARC board before even Clint came on board. So why wasn't it done? They had access to the San Diego Humane Society, the veterinarian, the top veterinarian there. I asked the questions. How long does it take to get a veterinarian? It takes 3 to 6 months. It could even take longer. And then the burnout rate for veterinarians is high. So you actually need more than one to offset the other one. We have a train wreck. You think it's funny. I don't. I really don't.
Ms. Mendoza, I have a question. I look at your letter, and if I'm not mistaken, last year when we were talking about the Inland Valley Humane Society, there was a large complaint by some of the folks that go out and help and trap and spade some of the cats out there that are strays. And even Council Member Flores donated some of his community funds to get some of these cats spaded. But I believe back then you were telling us that Inland Valley wasn't helping you. But here in your letter, you're saying...
I never said that.
Hold on.
Nope.
Let me finish. And I want to ask, when did they ever send out their... Because you're quoting they need to be able to send out their mobile clinical spade and neutering services. When did that come out? No. But when did that come out before we went over to the ARC? Because I don't remember this mobile center ever coming out.
I am saying you're misreading what I wrote. I am saying that if you guys ask for the Inland Valley Humane Society help by asking for their mobile clinic, they will provide it to you. Yes, at a cost, but at least we'll get vaccinations. We'll get the animals spayed and neutered.
If we had a contract with them for all these years, why did we have to ask? If they knew that was the need that everybody was complaining about up there, was all these feral cats and everything else. How come?
And we do. The only complaint that we had, and it's a budget complaint, that Inland Valley Humane Society used to do TNR for free. It is $70 now, but at least they have it. Guess what ARC has? Just take a wild guess. They ain't got nothing. No TNR program.
This is something that's getting built from scratch.
Yes, it's getting built from
you're telling me
scratch.
2 years, I don't think we've been in negotiations with ARC for 2 years. I think we just joined ARC, I believe, a year ago. So, I mean, you're throwing out some figures here that are not accurate. And you're throwing out services that Inland Valley provides. When we had a contract with them, they never came out and provided any of these services.
They didn't have the mobile clinic then. They got that clinic, I'm not exactly sure when. I'm saying that I'm offering you a lifeline, telling you that if ARC, if you write a letter to ARC saying, hey, we have a concern, we need these animals sprayed and neutered, hey, is it possible to use Inland Valley Humane Society as a contract to bring their mobile surgical unit to have the cats and dogs sprayed and neutered and maybe vaccines until the ARC can get up and running, which should have been already up and running. Common sense tells you what you need.
I think if they would have provided those services when we had a contract with them, maybe we wouldn't have went over to the ARC. I think that's one of the main things. I think it was the fact that they weren't showing us their budget, they weren't showing us where our money was going, they were continuously raising their rates on us without giving us any accountability. And we had nobody on the board. We couldn't even attend their board meetings. And
that's right. It's a 501c. That's why the ARC is not. But the ARC is not being transparent either. We have an employee. And the veterinarian board specifies that employee.
But at least with the ARC,
there is no agenda item.
Yeah, at least with the ARC, you're able to attend the meetings and hear what's going on. You can't do that with Inland Valley.
Oh, I get 2 minutes to speak. That's it. I don't even get to finish my letters, nothing.
And
you want to know why? Wait, let me tell you, because this is the hilarious part of the whole thing. Paul complained left and right that they wouldn't give him time in his meeting. They wouldn't recognize him. They wouldn't let him speak. Then it's my turn to speak, and he says I'm only going to get 1 minute or 2 minutes. I'm like, oh no, this agenda right here, it specifies public comment 3 minutes. Well, I'm the mayor, I'm the director of this thing. I can say whatever and I can do whatever I want. Boy, is that contradicting.
I can't speak to that, Ms. Mendoza.
Burton was there.
But I can speak to the fact that at least you got some time to speak where you wouldn't be able to speak at Inland Valley.
Oh no, if I had a problem in Inland Valley Humane
You could attend their board meetings?
I could not attend the board meetings because it's 501c. I do my research, as you guys can see. I do my research. So what do?
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
Okay, and that's the appropriate way. Agree to disagree.
You can go, just like you can go talk to the supervisor there at Inland Valley for as much time as you want. I'm sure you can go speak to a supervisor at the ARC for as much time as you want as well. But the difference is you actually get to attend a meeting and see about what the budget and what they're moving forward with and what they're not moving forward with. And in Inland Valley, you couldn't do that.
Right, but
okay, excuse me, I'm going to interrupt. Hold
it.
This is not going to be a public argument debate.
I know it's agreed to disagree. You're right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is the public comment closed, Mayor? Because I'd like to make a comment.
There is no public comment open, Karen. It's, anyone can address the council on this item at all. But I'm going to make a couple of statements before I ask for council comments, and that is, with the Inland Valley Humane Society, their budget was going out of sight. We had no input to it. We had no way of knowing what was going on. They refused to provide information. They refused to accept any kind of suggestions, questions. We couldn't get any information from them at all, and their costs were going sky high. We had constant complaints from residents who wanted to do TNR who could not get help from Inland Valley, and we made the decision that it was time to split because our community was not getting represented. Yes, maybe this does not meet everyone's needs yet, but it will. It's a temporary facility. Don't roll your eyes at me. I'm talking to you. Oh, yes, you are. Let me finish. Let me finish. You're a very angry lady. I understand that. This is not going the way you want. I understand that. But there are a lot of people involved in this that when it finally comes together and is finished is going to be an outstanding facility that I'm hoping you'll be happy with, but maybe not. I don't know. We have a lot of people we represent and a lot of animals. Everyone up here is an animal lover, okay? I have never used Humane Society for shots, vaccine, or spay and neutering. I have always gone to my own vet to have those services done. And I think most people do. I don't know how many people actually use IVHS for those facilities or for those services. I know they have spent an absolute bloody fortune on a veterinarian clinic that was apparently donated through a lot of money donated by some very wealthy people, which is nice. They have a full staff of veterinarians on there, which is also very expensive, which we never could get any cost information on at all, okay? I fully believe in ARC. I think our community is going to be very happy with them. We had repeated calls. They would never pick up dead animals. They would never follow up on licensing. We couldn't get them to help us the way we needed help, and neither could the other communities. And that's why we decided to create ARC and split away from them. Karen, you had comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that I agree with a lot of the comments that have been made up here. Mo, we appreciate your comments. We do. It's the democracy in work. People have a right to agree to disagree. And we also need public watchdogs, such as yourself, to hold people accountable on these boards and moving forward. But I will say this. At one point, while I was still working professionally, I was tasked with overseeing the Inland Valley Humane Society contract for the city of Chino. And we did make requests such as the mayor has talked about, or as Councilman Lucio talked about, to have insight into cost or different things from a transparency perspective. And at the time we were told no. I think what happened there was, for a long time, Inland Valley Humane did a great job and was sort of the only game in town for all of us on the West End to get those appropriate animal services. And we had a great working relationship with their staff for a very long period of time. But somewhere for us, that started to go astray. And we started having conversations with them about, hey, we have to have better service, we have to have more transparency in our pricing, as well as we recognize, such as the mayor and Councilmember Lucio has talked about tonight, that they weren't able to keep up with our needs, and this just didn't happen overnight. This has been the slow progression of our community's needs increasing, largely because of the increase in population in our community. And as the mayor said, every single person sitting up here, we all have, well, I'm not sure if Mark does anymore, but we all have pets, right? And we love pets. I still have members of the Chino Police Department that are still assisting feral cats, on the perimeter of the Chino Police Department, right? We all, our pets are like family. My hope in this, Mo, is that once we get the ARC up and running, that it will service a greater need for the growing population of not just this community, but Ontario Ranch and others. Because guess what? Our population isn't going to go down in this community. It's going to increase because of what you heard earlier about building standards from Diana Dro, right, the Eden Project, and things that are going to happen in this community moving forward. And we're going to need additional resources to help our pets. Once the ARC is constructed, I would like to see both entities work in unison. I would like to see them both have a collaborative working relationship. When one can't help the other one can help. This is no different than the disciplines that you see working together today in government. If fire needs assistance or if the police department needs assistance, what I would like to see is us have more options for our residents moving forward once these services come online with the ARC. I understand your frustration right now. A lot of times when we say, okay, we're open, sometimes people expect for those services to come online right away. And it is disappointing that they are not there right away for us. But as the mayor has said, I believe that they will come online. And my hope is that the operations of those two services for animals can help serve a larger need, and they can now serve in the future to mutually support each other's mission. Because if they stay focused on the mission, it's about helping our residents, and it's about helping our animals in the future. And I think that's where we need to stay focused when we start talking about something such as this project. Those are my comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Chris, do you have any comments? No comments. Mark? Curtis?
I do. Jackie, thank you very much for that report. I think it's outstanding that the ARC is finally open. It opened today, ladies and gentlemen. You'd think, based on the comments that you've been hearing, that this ARC project has been open for a year and a half or maybe even 2 years. Today is the first day that the ARC has been open. And I think it's a wonderful day, and it's going to be an outstanding facility, once the permanent facility gets constructed. We are in a temporary facility right now. There are many functions that are not in there yet because it's not a permanent facility, and there is not going to be money spent in areas that at this point the ARC can contract out with, such as veterinarians that are currently being contracted that people seem to think are employees, which are not. There have been comments about transparency, the ARC not being transparent. The ARC is extremely transparent. All people have to do is look at the agenda. If there are questions, all they have to do is pick up the phone and make a phone call. Mayor Paul Leone from the City of Ontario, who is the chairperson of the ARC, has his own way of running meetings. That's his prerogative as the chairman of the board. There's a lot of wonderful things that are going to happen. People have to take a deep breath and let some things go. Why the anger is going on with you, Mo, I don't know why. You say I'm laughing at you. I'm a happy person. I have a smile on my face. And if that's the interpretation you're getting, that I'm laughing at you, I apologize. I'm certainly not making light of anything you say, but I want you to know that we are looking into everything that you mention because we are concerned, as well as you are, to make sure that this is all going to happen the way it should. And that's to be able to facilitate the needs of this area in the West End. That's going to just, like I said, it's going to be amazing once we get up and running. So much better than the Inland Valley Humane Society that I personally know about. There were trucks that were out in LA County for many, many hours that there were no trucks out here in the West End at all to facilitate the needs of our animals. There were a lot of things that were said over there, such as they are the only game in town, and if the cities don't like it, then they can go to the county. I heard that personally. So there are a lot of things that happened in the Inland Valley Humane Society that you're not aware of because there was no transparency, and you couldn't attend board meetings to vent, to offer advice like you are here. I appreciate you coming. I really do, despite what you may think. But I think it's great that you do come. You share your information. It is looked into, but I want you to know it's going to be a great thing. Today is day one. Let's give it a chance to work out in a very successful way. And that's all I have to say, Mayor.
Okay, any other council comments? Okay, then we need a motion in a second. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilmember Flores. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next on Mayor Council reports, I have item number 15, Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission appointments. We have recommended reappointment of Commissioners Neil Jerry and Linda Takeuchi, and the appointment of Carl Cooper to the Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission. Any council comments? Yes, Councilman Lucio.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I sat in on the interviews, and I will say that Mr. Cooper was outstanding. He comes to us with a lot of experience from LA City and LA County. He's worked with a lot of programs. I think he's something that we definitely need, especially in the preserve. We need to start some serious programming over in the preserve. So I think him living in the preserve, he obviously would be really, really focused in helping us get that done. He even has experience in wrestling programs. My son grew up in the Pounders wrestling program, which was out of Rowland Heights, which is a county park. And he was very familiar with the coach there, who's who's produced state champions and a lot of D1 wrestlers. So I think he's really somebody that came off as 100% in all the scoring that I had. So he's definitely one of the most qualified people that I've sat in on any interview. So I'm very happy that he's been chosen as a member of our Community Services Parks and Recreation Commission.
Chris?
Yes, Mr. Cooper, I had a chance to meet you over the weekend. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I love the experience that you come with. You're also recently retired, so I think that's awesome. And you do live in the Preserve, which is one of our growing communities, and I know you're going to be a great voice for them out there. Had a chance to meet your wife as well, very lovely wife, and I was happy to see the both of you attend, our fireworks spectacular show this past Saturday. But I will tell you, you do have some big, you're working alongside some you're going to be sworn in alongside some of our, what I call our walking, living legends, and Linda and Neil. And to Linda and Neil, just want to say, we're happy to have you guys back. And again, I'm excited to see you guys being sworn in today. Thank you.
Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Cooper, I also had a chance to meet you and your wife at the 4th of July event, so welcome to Team Chino. And we look forward to the experience you're going to bring. You're going to be among a group of really talented, long-standing members on our commission, but I know you're going to do a great job. And I had the opportunity to sit in on Commissioner Tagauchi and Commissioner Jerry's interviews. Great job, and we know we have something good in our commissioners there. Thank you for applying for reappointment, and congratulations on your reappointment tonight. Both of you have done so much for our community. Linda is one of the longest-standing commissioners with your historical perspective and just your insight. And Neil, just everything you do, you are everywhere all the time, including your voice. So just thank you for your long-term service, and congratulations to all three of you this evening. What a great night for all of you.
Kurt?
Mr. Cooper, I'd also like to congratulate you on your appointment to Commissioner. What an achievement personally to be able to do something like that in this fine city. We value our parks. If you go to any one of our parks, you'll see how much we value them. They're in tip-top shape for the most part, and you as a commissioner are going to be assigned a few parks, and you're going to make sure that they maintain that, as well as getting involved with our programming. So I wanted to congratulate you and welcome you to, as Councilmember Comstock said, to Team Chino. Linda Takeuchi and Neil Jerry, congratulations on your reappointments. Linda, you've been here for many, many, many years. We appreciate your institutional knowledge. We can't do without it right now. We just really appreciate you. And Neil Jerry is the voice of Chino. He's at our Christmas parade. He announces the Don Lugo football games. Neil is out there everywhere. And Neil, I appreciate your presence and the things that you bring to the city. So thank you very much.
Mayor, I have one more comment.
Yes, Karen.
Mayor, I also want to thank you. When we had some change on the council, a lot of us approached you and asked you to, even though we don't like to see ourselves as districted, we do know that districting has affected some of our decision-making and how we function as a body. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us approached you and asked you to allow for us to be involved in those interviews to make sure that we have appropriate balance in the representation throughout our community. And even though our ordinance doesn't technically require that, it was, very graceful of you as the mark of a leader to see when your teammates asked you to make some changes to those interviews. And I just want you to know that all of us appreciate having the insight to sit on those interviews and help you make those selections. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. And Linda and Neil. Linda, first met Linda when she came to the council, many, many years ago, 150 years ago. A long time ago to request tiny tots because her kids were little. So she's been involved in Parks and Recreation for eons. And Neil, everyone knows your voice, whether it be football or track meets or, oh my gosh, many, 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 many things. So Carl, you are going to have fun, I think, working with people that really know this community. And as far as the interviews were concerned, we had some very, very nice people that we interviewed, some very, very interested people who wanted to be on the commission. But Carl, I have to say, when we did the interview for you, I was totally blown away. I mean, this gentleman has lived in Chino for over 27 years with his family. He was with the County of Los Angeles Parks and Recreation for many, many, many years and retired. He speaks recreation language, okay? He knows what SHMAF is and all the rest of the little acronyms, right? He's been a Chino High School volunteer basketball coach for 6 years. He's been involved in the youth sports leagues, Chino Valley National Junior Basketball. I mean, this guy comes to us with so much experience, and I'm really excited. After your interview, you can ask Mark. I was like, oh, we hit the jackpot. So I am so glad that you applied. I mean, I appreciate all the people that applied, but it was so exciting to go through your interview with all of your experience and stuff. And I think, Ted, I think you are going to really enjoy working with Carl because he knows your language, which is kind of nice, you know, when there's so many acronyms and stuff out there. So he's going to really understand where you guys are coming from, and I think he's going to have some very, very valuable input. And with that, I would like to ask for a motion and a second to reappoint Linda and Neil and appoint Carl to the commission. And we have a motion from Councilmember Flores and second by Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. And the item passes unanimously. I'd like to ask all three of you to come up and be sworn in, please. And Mrs. Cooper, please don't be angry with him if he's away from home a lot now. There's going to be a lot for him to do.
You stand right there. Perfect. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Carl Neal Jerry,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Now, I'd like to give each of you an opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you for allowing me to continue to serve this wonderful city. I was able to raise my children here. I'm hauling my grandkids in as much as I can. And it's blossomed so well, and it's got so much more potential. Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for allowing me to assist growing our city as a wonderful place to be. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to say thank you as well to all of you, and the support that you give us is amazing, and so we really appreciate it. You know, as I was sitting through the meeting, commitment to our community, partnership and teamwork, communication, engagement, all things that we're so proud of that we want to help build this city to be such a great city as it is. And then together we take pride in providing quality, caring service to our community. I think that's who we are, and that's what we do. And I'm so proud of my fellow commissioners and the job that they do. They really get involved, and that's what we're here for, to keep Chino great. And ironically, as I was announcing a Don Lugo basketball game, they were playing Chino High School, and Carl was scorekeeping and helped coaching the other side. We started to have a conversation, so what a small world. I met him back then, and now we're going to work together. So thank you all very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I want to first of all say thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Wow, I'm floored. And you took everything I was going to say away about why I'm standing here. I mean, recreation has been my career, unexpectedly my career for 40 years. So I do speak park language. But really why I'm standing here is, 1998, my wife and I were looking for a community to raise our family. We had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we moved to Chino. And this is where we raised our family. Our kids are from Chino. Yeah. And they've gone through park programs and activities. I'm tearing up now, wow. And activities over the years. I've been a volunteer for the city. I laugh because, in the early 2000s, 2003 to probably 6 or 7, the rec department hated to see me coming. I was a guy from LA. And I'm always telling them things they could do or should do, but we have a wonderful community. It's because of you all. It's because of our work with our police force. We didn't just live in the preserve. We lived in the northwest part of the city for 7 years, right next to Donaldville High School, and we moved to the preserve. So we moved from one part of the city to the other. We love our city. I've always wanted to be a part of the board, but I worked. I commuted. And I said, as soon as I retire, I'm going to find a way to get on the board. And just so happened, you guys are looking for seats. Got a chance to meet you all, and it's been wonderful ever since. I hope I didn't scare you guys away. That's what I told my wife, oh my God, I'm too close to this. Maybe they don't want anybody that close. No. But thank you all, and I look forward to being a part of that wonderful committee. Patty's boys, I coached Patty's boys in high school, so looking forward to it, and I just want to say thank you again for giving me the opportunity.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Well, I'll tell you, our commission is... Our commissions are one of the reasons why our community is so strong, because we have people on the commissions that truly, truly care. So welcome aboard, welcome back aboard. We're thrilled. Now, for my report, Thursday, June 19th, I accompanied staff to provide key personnel from the San Antonio Hospital on a tour of our community. They're interested in locating a facility here. Then we attended the concert on the lawn. The Mary White Country Band played that night, and they were really good. I want to thank Kiwanis for putting on the concerts, for providing food, and Rancho del Chino Rotary for cooking the corn. Then on Saturday, June 21st, Bob and I, along with friends and family, celebrated our 50th anniversary at Central Basco. And I want to thank everyone who attended, everyone who sent congratulations and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Took some really good pictures. The other thing that was fun is we got some of the old Chino people back together again, so it was like a little mini reunion of old councils. There was Fred Aguirre and Larry Walker and, some of the folks who were involved years ago. Thursday, June 26th, Councilmember Flores and I attended the Investment Committee to review our financial procedures, practices, and investments. Friday the 27th, I attended the local Montessori school graduation ceremony. My goodness sakes, those little kids, 2 of the little girls, 5-year-olds, gave complete speeches. And I was shocked, and every one of the children had to come up on the little stage, say their name, what they wanted to be when they grew up. Only one little boy had a meltdown. All the rest of them were just really bold, marched right up there. Some of them said it in Spanish and in English. Those kids, talk about future leaders, it was really fun. I'd never been to anything like that before. Then that afternoon I attempted to throw out the first pitch for the girls' fast pitch tournament. Ted took a picture of me as I missed the catcher. Of course, I miss every year. One of these days I'm going to get it right to the catcher. And then that evening, I attended the League of California Cities Latino Caucus Board of Directors dinner at Owens Bistro, along with Councilmember Flores. Saturday, June 28th, I attended the St. Paul the Apostle grand opening of their Pregnancy Resource Center. It's located in one of the buildings of the old Hillview Acres, and it's going to be a very valuable asset for our community. It's for ladies that are pregnant that need resources. They need counseling, help, diapers, clothes, furniture. They have everything imaginable there to help anyone who is pregnant and having issues. They also help after the baby's born as well. So it's going to be a very valuable resource for our community. And interestingly enough, that building was originally built by Lennar for Hillview Acres, and it was for unwed mothers, teen pregnant ladies. So it's continuing on with its needs. So that was very nice. Mark was there also with me. That evening, we attended our fireworks spectacular. We had something very special this year. As you know, we have various service members present the flags representing the service that they belong to. And that evening, the gentleman carrying the Navy flag was a 91-year-old veteran named Frederick Barth. He walked right out there, boy, just as pleased as punch, just as proud as anything. 91 years old. That was really nice. That was very, very special. And of course, it was well attended. Our public works and did a great job keeping the park clean. Police were everywhere on motorcycles and walking and friendly. You know, a couple of people told me they saw him even playing volleyball or something with some of the participants, which is always nice. Monday, June 30th, attended the California Cities Joint Meeting of the Inland Empire, Desert Mountain, and Riverside Divisions. The meeting was held in Riverside. Councilmember Comstock, Flores, and City Manager Reich and I attended. There was a panel discussion on Prop 36, the effects on crime so far and statistics, and our very own police chief, Kevin Menson, was on the panel. I thought it was very interesting. Kevin, you did a really good job. But boy, we can tell there's more work to be done, huh? And then today I had my one-on-one with City Manager Reich, and then I attended closed session, which we're going to be going back into again, and then, of course, tonight's meeting. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem Kurt Burton, you have item number 16, sir.
I do. Thank you very much, Mayor, and I think it's necessary to, at the beginning of this new fiscal year, that people understand what our community support fund is. The city of Chino is fortunate to have multiple nonprofits and community groups dedicated to serving the public and preserving Chino's unique history. To assist in our ongoing efforts, the city of Chino from time to time authorizes expenditures from the city's community support fund. These expenditures serve as a valid public purpose by helping to contribute and to continue the outstanding services that these organizations provide to our community. This evening, I'd like to ask for authorization from the council to contribute money to the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Leadership Collaborative for Rebel Ranch, as well as the Chino Valley YMCA.
Okay, we need a motion and a second for item number 16. I have a motion from Councilmember Flores, second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously.
On June 18th, I attended the Planning Commission meeting, and then the 21st, my wife and I were honored to be able to attend the mayor and her husband Bob's 50th, the golden wedding anniversary celebration. It was wonderful. What a privilege and an honor it was to be there and to be invited to that celebration. You're a testament, Mayor, you and Bob, to all of us younger folks that just see
Yes,
that
to
going on,
riveting.
and I'm telling you, it just is really, really neat to be able to see that with you two.
Thank
It's just amazing to see your family as well.
But you'll notice this younger gentleman has gray hair, so.
Just a couple. We call that wisdom, I think, somewhere along the line. On the 23rd, I attended the Economic Development meeting with Councilmember Lucio, and then I had my one-on-one with our city manager. The 24th, I attended the Chino Basin Desalter Authority Finance Committee meeting. And then on the 25th, I had a briefing with the Animal Resource Center with the Executive Director, Clint Thacker. On the 28th, with the rest of the council, and it sounds like 9,000 people attended the fireworks spectacular at Ayala Park. I was blessed to be there with my entire family, including my 7-year-old grandson, just watching him get involved in all the carnival rides and the band, and then, of course, to finish it off, the fireworks. It was really amazing. It was a good time. And also to see the veteran walk out there, the 91-year-old gentleman, I spoke to him. He was in the Korean War. And then after the Korean War, he served many years. I think he said over 20 years with the United States Coast Guard. So just the service that gentleman has provided our country is just amazing. I really appreciate that. On July 1st, which was today, I attended the ARC board meeting. We welcomed the city of Chino Hills into the JPA, and that was actually Peter Rogers will be the representative from the city of Chino Hills. And once again, today is the very first day of ARC opening in the city of Chino. We're excited, folks. We need patience. We're gonna make mistakes along the way, but that's okay. As long as you learn from those mistakes, you pick up and you move forward, and it's gonna be a tremendous venture for everybody involved. I'd like to thank Diane Boudreau for coming up this evening and her comments about the housing issues. She's absolutely correct in the things that we're dealing with here in the state of California, and our governor. They just have in their mind that one size fits all, no matter what. City of Chino is much, much different than Los Angeles and Pomona and San Francisco. We have our own needs here, and they certainly don't match those other cities. So thank you, Diane, for coming up. And then I wanted to remind everybody once again, please do not believe everything that you read on social media and or even our local newspaper. Everybody puts their own spin on things. I would encourage everyone to please go to our fact page that the city of Chino has put on our webpage at thecityofchino.org. See what the real story is before you believe in the things that you read or see on social media. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Speaking of social media, my husband read one thing to me. They said we weren't going to have real fireworks. We were doing a drone show. I thought, oh, good heavens, where does this stuff come from? So, yeah, definitely don't believe everything that you read. Councilmember Comstock.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 18th, as we discussed in our last council meeting, I traveled to Sacramento with Councilmember Burton, Chief Minson, and staff. We attended the Joint Legislative Audit Committee meeting, wherein the audit of the California Institute for Men was on the consent calendar. It passed, so we will be getting that audit. And I want to thank particularly our Assembly Member, Michelle Rodriguez, and Assembly Member Hera Bedian for helping us to accomplish the audit of the institution. There is a well-written article in the paper about why we are seeking that audit, and in summary, I summarize it in this manner. The institution is at best a low-functioning level 2 yard that was never designed to be a level 4 condemned inmate yard, and we have asked the state on repeated occasions to not program the yard in this manner, including putting condemned inmates into that institution because it is not appropriate for them to be housed there. Despite all of our requests, the state has ignored our request to do so. So this is our effort by which to ask the state, okay, if you're going to program this yard for a manner in which it was never intended, then we would like for you to appropriately fund it from a public safety perspective and secure it and do the things that you need to do, not just for the inmates there, but for the employees that are working there, and most importantly, for local public safety to our community moving forward. So hopefully that will provide us with the roadmap moving forward to get the institution appropriately audited and make recommendations for that to accomplish. I think the public would be surprised to learn at some of the basic security measures, including perimeter cameras and other things that just simply do not exist there, that when we will, because at one point we will have another event there involving a missing inmate, some of the things that could just be so fundamentally helpful to help us get started on that search for that person. So I look forward to the audit and reading of its results. June 23rd, I attended my one-on-one meeting with the city manager and staff, and then later that evening, our Community Services Park and Recreation Commission meeting here in the council chambers. Then on June 24th, I attended a meeting with the local resident, surprisingly about our local boat parking ordinance, and received information from him about his concerns on that moving forward. Later that same evening, I attended the infrastructure committee meeting with Councilmember Lucio, where the star of the show of that meeting is actually an ongoing concern with the fountain at the roundabout in front of Chaffee College, where we're actually have some development going on. But we have great staff here, and I'm sure we're going to hopefully come to a good conclusion for that for everybody involved in that in the future. On June 28th, I, along with the rest of the council members, attended the event at Ayala Park, the fireworks event. That is always a great event for us as a community. I want to thank our police department, our fire department, all of our staff from Community Services, Park and Recreation, Public Works. That is a big weekend for us because of what happens at the park, but it is also a phenomenal weekend for us. I also want to thank the public for handling that entire weekend so responsibly and so well. It allows us to continue to want to fund it and continue to do it into the future. So thank you all, and what a great fireworks show and event that is for us every year. On June 30th, I attended the Inland Empire Region Cal Cities meeting. As the mayor discussed, it involved 3 different chapters of Cal Cities, where our very own Chief Minson spoke on Proposition 36. Great job, Chief, as well as Chief Gonzalez from the Riverside Police Department. Little factoid there, Chief Gonzalez and I were actually classmates at Don Lugo, as well as the DA, Mike Heston from Riverside County, and an assistant DA. I dare not try to pronounce his name because it was very difficult. But gentlemen, all 4 of those gentlemen gave a great Q&A and a very informative presentation on what Proposition 36 is going to help us. It's not the end all, but it's certainly going to help us, with public safety moving forward. And Chief, I particularly enjoyed your perspective on statistics and how we can continue to train our police officers to be more proactive now with drug arrests and different shoplifting arrests, and the education component to get those retail merchants back into the business of calling us so we can hold those offenders accountable moving forward. Tonight, I attended, obviously, the closed session with council, which we'll be going back into after the public meeting. City Manager Reich, I want to thank you. Betty from the library was here tonight. She's a very nice lady. She was also at our Community Services Park and Recreation meeting. Thank you for painting the library. It looks great. And just that appearance and the investment that we're making into our infrastructure and our buildings, that's not inexpensive, right? And some of our buildings, including our very own City Hall complex, is in dire need of those upgrades and maintenance, not only for the benefit of our employees, both on the exterior, but our community that comes here. We do so much programming here. It is so important for us to keep our facilities looking professional and nice. And so I'm looking forward to the quotes coming back for the rest of City Hall. After I saw the library, it's like anything else. Once you paint one thing, you're like, oh, geez, now look at all this. One thing always leads to another, even in your own house. So it looks great. Kurt, you mentioned it, but Diane Madreau, her comments were spot on tonight. Thank you, Diane, for coming. And I agree with everything you said. Mayor, great evening for your 50th. We all enjoyed it. Thank you. My favorite part was when Bob spoke, because Bob's kind of a man of few words, but he had a lot of really sentimental and very sweet things to say that night about when you guys first met each other. That was really, really nice. It was a great evening, and to see all of Old Chino back there, including Fred Aguirre and Larry Walker and several others, city managers. It was just nice, a nice evening. And last thing I'm going to say is about the Pregnancy Resource Center. I wasn't able to attend that event, but I'm grateful for us to have it. I grew up next door to Hillview Acres. When my family moved to Chino in the Saddlewood Complex, I grew up there when that was actually a facility for abused children.
Mm-hmm.
And when that closed, I think the whole community was concerned about what operation would move in there.
Yeah.
And we can't be more grateful and more fortunate than have somebody like St. Paul the Apostle have taken over and operate that facility there.
Mm-hmm.
They are a great community partner. Over time, they've done a lot of improvements to that facility. They keep it nice, and the services that they provide there. Mark and I were just down. That's been about a year ago now, but when the priest was asking for more abilities to perform catechisms because they were so far behind during the pandemic. I think the things that are happening there for our community are just really, really special and good. So I'm happy to hear that that facility is open there for us.
Yeah, they have more planned for some of the buildings as well.
Wonderful.
Karen, you also have item number 17.
I do. I'm sorry, Mayor. I almost neglected that. I would. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Burton did a great job about talking about our community support fund, but I would like to ask the council's support tonight in the contribution to the Chino Valley Seroptimus Club and to the Chamber for the Rebel Ranch for Seroptimus in the amount of $100 and for Rebel Ranch for $250.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Flores and second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Passes unanimous.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Okay, Councilmember Flores, you have item number 18.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So just like some of the rest of our council, I am asking for a community support fund of $500 to the Chamber's leadership program as well, who's who supported Rebel Ranch in this past year. And but I will say I do want to add a comment. Chief Williams, you have Rita working with you over there. I gotta tell you, she's a powerhouse. She phone banked and she raised a lot of money for their leadership collaborative and Rebel Ranch. So tell her thank you for her efforts and supporting our Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. And thank you for allowing her and giving her the opportunity to join the program as well.
Well, you know he stole her.
Yeah, well,
She's still loyal to us.
I'm trying to be nice, Mayor.
Okay, we need a motion and a second, please, for item number 18. Motion from Councilmember Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Your report.
Thank you, Mayor. So on the 19th of June, I had a chance to sit down with our board chair, Reginald Thomas of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. Many of you know Reggie. He's just, a powerhouse and influencer here within our community. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the board, and his experience is going to, I think, just help keep, helping the board flourish. On the 20th, I had a chance to go to a boxing match. Our Daniel Diaz, he's a local fighter here. You may have heard his name before. If you haven't, you will get to know him sooner than later. He's a professional fighter, and he had his 10th fight that day. Under the DAZN promotions, and that was a pretty big deal, and he won that fight, so now he's 10-0, so we're excited for him. He also shared that there's an opportunity for him to get in the undercard for the upcoming Crawford and Canelo fight here in Vegas, so it's a pretty big deal, so keep him in your prayers, and let's keep supporting him. On the 21st of June, I had a chance to, participate in a grand opening and ribbon cutting for Su Carniceria. It's over there off of Philadelphia and Central, in like the 24-hour fitness shopping center. Really great meat. I had a chance to buy some that day, and I had a chance to give it to my dad for my dad to cook for the family, and it was pretty good. So I encourage you all to go patronize and try their meat.
What's the name of it again?
Su Carniceria.
Right.
Su Carniceria, Mayor.
Okay.
Your meat, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your meat market.
Oh, meat market.
Your meat market.
What is it by, Chris?
It's by the 24-hour fitness. They're at the catty corner of the two, buildings that kind of come together at the end. I would say in between 24-hour and like the, the FedEx.
Oh, okay.
That's there. So right in between there. That same day, I had a chance to, go to the open house and resource fair hosted by Senator Susan Rubio. It was well attended. We're, excited to be there, and she's a powerhouse, getting a lot of things done. So, I was just there to support her. That day, I also had a chance to go to Mayor, your 50th anniversary, and although I was there for a short period of time because I did have to do some homework that day, but I was happy to be there and meet some of the, old what do you call it, Chinoians, and yeah, it was a great turnout from what I hear. So congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
On the 23rd of June, I had a chance to travel up to Sacramento with our Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, just to go and support our local businesses and go advocate for them up there. A lot of bills were discussed, but I will share that the top priority, at least for the Chamber of Commerce, was the SB 84, which the Chamber supports, and it's a reform to reduce abusive ADA accessibility lawsuits. Many of you may know or may not know, but a lot of our local businesses, some of the major ones is, for example, Cockadoodle and Painted Dough, they've been hit with different ADA lawsuits, and it's unfortunate because some of those corrections are very minor that our businesses are willing to do and make those corrections, but that also comes at a cost, not just to make the corrections, but to settle, and some of these settlements are, in the ballpark between $8,000 and $15,000, and it's not very fair. So I'll tell you, we had support across the board from the legislators that we met with, so we're excited about that, and we definitely will be following that from the city side, but also from the chamber side. On the 24th of June, I had a chance to go to our West Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District meeting, and I will say one report that was shared by our district manager is that year to date we have not had any positive mosquito samples, which is, just outstanding work that our district is doing in terms of, some of the mosquito, some of the mosquito programs that they have going on there. So again, I just think that's exciting news, especially for someone who gets eaten up by mosquitoes a lot. On the 26th of June, I had a chance to, again, attend our investment committee meeting with our mayor. On the 27th of June, I had a chance to go to the League of California Cities, the Latino Caucus board dinner. It was a great dinner. My first time attending, a dinner of some sort, with the Latino Caucus. I had a chance to meet different members of the caucus, and it was pretty exciting because it was hosted in our city here right across the street at the bistro. And just to Ray Marquez, I just think you're doing an amazing job at not just representing the League of California Cities, but the Chino Valley as well. And on the 28th, the fireworks spectacular. It was kind of a special day for me because I convinced my grandparents from South LA to come out and enjoy the festivities that we had out here. And I'll tell you, they didn't want to leave, and they enjoyed the fireworks shows and the fireworks show. And it was pretty exciting just to see them hang out. And they got a chance to meet the mayor as well. That was pretty exciting, and just happy for them, and happy to provide a good moment in their life. And on the 30th, just yesterday, as was mentioned earlier, I had a chance to go to the Inland Empire Desert Mountain and Riverside Division board meeting for the California cities. And again, Chief, I think you did an amazing job as well, presenting the numbers as you did. And as you mentioned that day, you do have support from this council, and hopefully that resonated with other cities as well. And there is a lot of work to do with Prop 36 and, the follow through with that, as the mayor mentioned. So, we'll definitely be following that and supporting our first responders in that regard. But with that, Mayor, I do want to say, Maureen, I didn't have any comments earlier, but I just got to say, I do love the fire that you bring, and, I love, as was mentioned earlier, we always do need a watchdog, so we definitely appreciate that. And I do promise myself that I think when it's all said and done and we're in our permanent location, yourself and Mayor Pro Tem Burton are going to be best friends, and I can guarantee you that. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my comments.
Chris, can I write that down? I'm going to get Maureen and Kurt. I want you guys to sign a paper saying you're going to be best friends in the future. Oh, Mark, you have item number 19.
Yes, I'd like to request approval for contribution for $500 for Ripple Ranch.
Okay, we need a motion and a second, please. Motion from Councilmember Flores, second by Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously.
Okay, I just wanted to say, as far as the audit for CIM, we attended that tour with Councilwoman, Assemblywoman Rodriguez. And although, and the mayor and I went, although they really didn't want to show us what we asked to be shown, and they showed us their programs with dog training and what have you, but not the actual facilities that we were looking to inspect. I'm really happy that they both looked beyond that and said, hey, you know what, there's an issue here and we really need to do the audit, because when we sit there and we say that this audit that was done, and we say several years ago, they fall back and they say, well, but we spent this much money, and a lot of that money was not on security, but on HVAC and other things to keep the facility running, but not necessarily to keep the facility safer. So I'm glad that this audit's going to be done so it could show where they come up short when it comes to safety. And that's all I wanted to say on that. And I'll go quick on my report. On the 23rd, I met with Lisa Fraga regarding the fundraising that we're going to have to do for the Thanksgiving giveaway. And part of it's going to be the vehicle that we put into the demolition derby, which will be on the 19th. So we're pushing out I am an Angel fan, but we are pushing out a Dodger car, which will be obviously looking for sponsorships for the stickers on the vehicle for the fundraiser.
Does that hurt, Mark?
It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't make me real happy. But Joe Fraga was a big Dodger fan, and he passed away, and we're doing it in memory of Joe Fraga, so we're going with the Dodger-themed car. Later that day, I attended the Chaffey College Oversight Committee meeting, followed by an economic development meeting. On the 24th, I met with the city manager. Later that day, I attended the Infrastructure Streets Committee meeting, and it was a big presentation regarding the fountain. On the 28th, I attended the St. Paul the Apostle Pregnancy Resource Center. It was great to see that the church has taken the lead on obviously they support life, and they're putting their money where their mouth is, and so is their congregation. Everything that they get is donated by the church. They're also looking at a couple buildings that they have in there to expand on that, but apparently prior to them taking over, the inside of the houses were vandalized quite a bit, so they're going to have to do some renovations and fundraising for that. Later on that day, I attended the Chino Fireworks Spectacular. I will say last year, my wife's aunt came from Texas, and she attended it. She was just in awe over our fireworks show. She thought it was great. So then, of course, she tells her sister, who then came down from Washington and attended this year, and she was very, very impressed. And now she's going to be a resident of Costa Rica. That's where she's going to go retire. So, but she just wanted to say that she was really, really impressed with as many people that were at that function, and there was no issues. And she says that just shows that we have a very, very safe community, that we can have that and not have any issues there. On the 1st, I attended a meeting with Ben Cardenas from Cabrera Capital. I also attended a meeting for the general plan update, and followed by a meeting with the city manager. I wanted to congratulate Neil and Linda also for being reappointed to the commission. You guys have done a great job. Continue your hard work, and hopefully now with Carl there, you guys can grow up on that. I also wanted to congratulate you on your 50th wedding anniversary. I know I couldn't make it, but it's truly a milestone. Not a lot of people reach, but you guys have withstood the test of time, which is something that should be admired, especially in this day and age. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Linda Reich, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to congratulate the CSPR team for once again planning and hosting an amazing event, the Fireworks Spectacular. But as you know, no department in this city does anything alone. Every single department has touched that event, and you're right, we didn't have any issues, and that is a testament to our community and the people who come here, the event itself, And they know they can come here, they can be safe, and they can have a great time. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Okay. City Attorney Galante.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing I want to highlight, and this sort of came in a little bit under the radar, but yesterday the governor, as part of the budget bill, the 25-26 state budget bill, Governor Newsom signed 2 bills into law, AB 130 and SB 131, that arguably make the most sweeping changes to the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and some infrastructure reforms. The key components are that qualifying housing and infrastructure are now going to be exempt from CEQA review, so that if it meets certain standards, and it's also expanded to high-speed rail, farm worker housing, childcare, healthcare, and clinics, and food pantries. AB 130, the first bill, exempts some of these housing projects if it meets certain conditions relating to size, density, location, and use. And SB 131 exempts housing projects if they are at least, if the project overall is at least 2/3 dedicated to residential use. It's no larger than 20 acres, which is fairly significant size site, so you could anticipate that a lot of these projects would be swept within its provisions. And also if it's on an area that is previously developed as an urban, either developed as an urban use or surrounded by developed areas. There are different criteria. The project does have to be consistent with the general plan and zoning, but does have pretty sweeping authorizations to bypass CEQA that will be fairly significant. And I know it does have some prevailing wage obligations, payment of prevailing wages by a developer, but I know that many developers pay wages similar to what are considered prevailing wages. And that comes into law today. So it was passed yesterday, it's effective today. I will be issuing a client alert that I'll make sure you all get by tomorrow on this, providing more details. That's all I have.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Chief Minson.
Thank you, Mayor. I was not here at the June 17th council meeting 2 weeks ago. I was up in Sacramento attending the Public Safety Committee meeting and then in meetings in preparation for the JLAC. However, Captain Crowley was here on my behalf, spoke briefly about the stance of the Chino Police Department relates to immigration. So I just want to be perfectly clear. At the Chino Police Department, we fully comply to Senate Bill 54. We do not honor ICE detainer requests. We do not ask individuals about immigration status, and we do not participate in immigration enforcement whatsoever. The only extreme circumstances, and this is hypothetical because this has not occurred, is if any law enforcement officer requested assistance because they are being assaulted, then we would respond to make sure the safety of everybody involved. But we do not, and we have not participated in any type of immigration enforcement. Now, we do drive cars that are similar to maybe the ICE. They're Ford Explorers, they're Ford Tauruses, and our detectives drive those cars. Occasionally, they will do enforcement or arrests that has nothing to do with immigration, just crime, or maybe it could even be a traffic violation. So that could be the mistake. So when I was sworn in nearly 2 years ago, in my swearing-in speech, I said that I'd be open to meet with any member of the community, and that opportunity still exists. I had opportunity to meet with some community members last week. They had some concerns regarding the ICE and what was taking place. And their words, they felt a little bit more at ease after I had the conversations with them. So, we take pride in having a really, really good relationship with our community. We're very involved and very active in the community. So, moving on.
Kevin, I do have a question.
Sure.
We have seen the horrible demonstrations in LA and the damage that have been done by the demonstrators. I pray that we don't suffer that here. And I don't think we will because our community doesn't seem to be of that mind. But if anything like that were to come about, I would hope that our police department would get involved and stop the criminals. Because what they're doing with vandalizing, setting cars on fire, breaking up curbs to throw cement, the damage that they're doing to me is disgusting. And, you know, separate from ICE, separate from the whole immigration thing, the damage that's being done is horrendous. And I would hope that our police department would get involved and stop the damage.
Mayor, we fully support people exercising their First Amendment rights and to protest. But however, what the actions of those, that's not a protest, those are crimes.
Right.
And that criminal activity not only wouldn't be accepted in Chino, in San Bernardino County. So I obviously am part of the San Bernardino County, the sheriff and the chiefs group, and we've been discussing, we were game planning in case anything occurred, and we're discussing a lot of those options, those incidents that took place in Los Angeles.
Good.
Moving on to fireworks. So we currently have started our fireworks deployment. We have officers working actually as we speak, enforcing illegal fireworks. And then moving on for the 4th of July deployment, we're gonna have 60 officers working the night of the 4th of July deployment, along with members, partners with the Chino Valley Fire Department, with their inspectors. And some of the officers will be assigned to handling, as first responders, patrol calls. This is our busiest day of the year, not only fireworks calls, but also other calls for service. We have other officers that are gonna be doing specifically illegal fireworks enforcement, including our UAS, our drone operation will be up, where they will be detecting illegal fireworks and directing officers in there. And our traffic unit will be out doing DUI enforcement. If you see illegal fireworks, you can call the non-emergency number at the Chino Police Department at 909-628-1234, and you can also report them online. And then immediately we have a dispatcher that is monitoring the online submittals that are there, and you can access that through our website. And just going back, and I know we talked about this last year. So last year, between 6 p.m. and 2 a.m., us and the fire department respond to 14 fire calls. That's with anywhere from a brush fire that was down south to trees on fire and everything else, on top of an individual that lit off an illegal firework and blew off his hand to where our police officer actually had to apply a tourniquet. So these fireworks are dangerous. We want people to come here and celebrate and have a good time. We just want them to do it responsibly and safely. And so we will be out there in force, light all the safe and sane fireworks you'd like, just not the illegal ones. That concludes my report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I just think what you're doing to date, what you did last year and what you're doing to date is working, because by now our neighborhood is usually a war zone, especially in the county area, and it's been refreshingly calm so far this year. There's some, but nothing like in the past. So thank you very much. Good. Karen?
Chief, I liked your Facebook post for the campaign. That was clever. So,
I have a creative social media team,
Yeah.
and Dave and we took the picture actually this morning.
Both chiefs there. That was great.
Yeah.
So I like the one with the ER text too, with
That was good.
the X-rays. That was a good one. So.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Williams.
Good evening, Mayor. So I don't want to get too extensive. Thank you very much, Chief Menson, for inviting me to participate in the social media campaign today. Yes, we all know fireworks are very dangerous, even the safe and sane ones. So please, if you buy those things, use them in the area that you're supposed to use them and be safe with them. We have started our enforcement, started yesterday. It'll run all the way through the 4th. That's on the enforcement side, and we do have plans to backfill and hire up extra people for the day of the 4th for any potential operational need that may occur. So thank you very much, and that's all I have.
Okie doke. Let's see, I didn't ask for director reports because I know Hey-Jen is not with us this evening. Are there any director reports? Nope, because Hey-Jen's not here. All right, well, we will be going back into closed session. When we do reconvene, we will be adjourning to the next regular meeting, which will be, the next regular meeting will be a joint study session held with the Planning Commission on Tuesday, July 8th at 6 at the Senior Center, and then our next regular meeting will be held on July 15th at 6 here in the council chambers. No, it won't be at the council chambers, it'll be at the Senior Center, because we're anticipating lots of people attending. So we will be adjourning in that manner when we come back out of closed session. So let's immediately go back into closed session. And thank you all
And again, for the
being here.
record, it's on item 3, conference with labor negotiator. Thank you.